Ryan, I would have to say that this real estate isn't for everybody. So it's not, there's this big myth that you've got all this extra time that you can do what you want, and you're raking in all this money from the sales that you have or the buy sides that you have, and it's not a cheap business to be in.
Hey gang, it's Ryan Surratt here, the host of Agent X Factor, and I bet you are listening today because you knew that I'd have the great Karl Crawford here with us to talk about his success as an agent in the real estate industry and how he's been able to impact many lives doing this type of business. And Karl, thanks so much for being a part of this today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you having me here.
Man, it's a blessing to me. And for those that may not know, how did you get into doing real estate?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I got my license in 2018. The main reason that I got my license was so I could try to find potential investment properties to flip.
Yeah.
My wife and I watched all the TV shows that were flipping, and it was so easy we could do that too.
Yeah.
And so we got my real estate license, and that's not how things really work.
Sure. Yeah, it's not as easy as seeing on the HGTV network, huh?
No, not at all.
Now, how long you been in the business?
Like I said, I got my license in 2018, so just
2018
over
is
5
right.
years. Yeah, 5.5 years now.
Yeah, for us Aggies, that's five and a half years. So that's that's excellent. So perfect. Now you have your business. You're there with Keller Williams. You have a team. But one thing that I was really impressed with you that you came from the business world as well, correct?
Um, yeah, I owned a small FedEx fleet before I got my real estate license. So,
Now, would any of that stuff that you learned, Karl, from there have been something you brought over into your business to be so effective?
um, I don't think that nothing other than people relationships. I mean,
Yeah.
when you learn how to talk to people, and you have a small family of people that you work with, it's easy to take that into the next step with the real estate career.
So would you say that being effective with relationships is one of the key factors in being successful as an agent?
You have to be relationship minded, because it's not about the transaction. It's about building the relationship with somebody, because that person's not going to bring you one piece of business, but potentially multiple pieces of business.
Now, that is right there. That is I don't know if you got that branded somewhere on a card or I mean, it's not about the transaction. It's about the
No,
relationship. Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, I'm going to steal that, by the way. That is gold. So now
I'm,
what
I'm
else?
sure I stole it from somewhere at some point, so please feel free.
I think I said that to you, Karl, when we first met. And so, so that's, I love it. So what else do you think makes you effective and so successful as an agent? Because I mean, you're very successful. You're doing great, serving clients very well. And so what do you think makes you so effective besides the relationship aspect?
Well, I don't know, Ryan. I think real estate is all about dedication and repetition.
Okay.
If you're dedicated to your clients, to make sure that you are representing their interest and their interest alone in every aspect of the transaction, then that's where you're going to build those relationships with your clients. Um, and then repetition comes in with everything that you do. You need to be at the top of your game and be able to do it well, um, to be able to duplicate that same thing over and over again, so you can have a business that runs like this instead of your standard real estate business that runs up and down.
So having kind of systems in place helps prevent the roller coaster effect.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. No. Huh. I like that. That is now being from the FedEx background, is there, there that would be very systemized. What type of systems do you have in place for that repetitious work that you may go through as an agent?
Well, so there's several different ways several. You need to find what you're really good at. Just let's take lead generation for
Yeah.
instance. There are probably 1,000 different ways that you could lead generate to meet new people and get new business, to build those relationships. But you need to pick your top three. What are those top three? Pick them out and master them to make sure that, whatever they are, if it's your personal circle of friends, if your daily activities, going to the gym, going to church, civic groups that you're in, um, whatever your top three are that you're in that position as most often, those are the ones that you really need to concentrate on to uh, to
Hmm.
help fill that funnel so you can have as many people in there to contact as possible.
I've not heard that before. Just focus on the top three. But that makes sense because you just kind of focus on what's moving the needle instead of all the noise. And
Right.
yeah, yeah,
So you've got the 80-20 principle, right?
yep, yeah,
You know, 80% of your business is going to come from, or what is it? The 80% is going to come from 20% of the
yeah,
actions,
right.
vice
I'm with
versa,
you.
whatever it is. You understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So that, I mean, if you pick the top three things and find the things that you're good at and really practice those and hone in on those skills, then you're going to be the top 1% of those three things, and that's all you need to keep your business running. If you spread yourself too thin, then you're never going to be a master of anything, and you're going to be running around pulling all your hair out. I obviously don't have that problem. I don't have any hair left. So. It
And
is what it is, right? You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
change it.
that's right. That's right. So man, I like that. Okay, so that's all right. So let me ask this question. So I like that about the top three. Focus on the 80-20 rule for lead generation or for whatever in your business, really.
Right.
What would you say, Carl, what are you known for? I mean, what separates you from other agents that are out there?
Well, Brian, I think, I really strive to do what I say and say what I do. Um, as a realtor, or as someone's realtor, I'm not always going to tell them what they want to hear. I'm not a real good smoke blower. I feel like they're hiring me for my knowledge and my knowledge in the market and my
Sure.
opinion in home buying. So I like to take care of my clients from lending to closing,
Yeah.
and it's not always going to be pleasant, but I'm going to be here to support them through it. So I think that's what people respect the most.
Huh. I like that. That is that's good. No, that's phenomenal. Um, do what I say what I do. By the end of this podcast, Carl, I'm gonna have all these different Carl nuggets that like you
Yeah.
can put on a mug or a t-shirt or something, and then it's gonna be great. Hey, I have to ask this. Okay, so this is a little side note. My wife and I the other, I don't know, 2 weekends or so ago, we went to San Francisco. Have you ever been to San Francisco before?
I have no.
Okay. So when you go to San Francisco, one of the big things is the fog. And so you're there and the Golden Gate Bridge is just covered. I mean, it was just, as we were there, it was covered in fog and it would just roll into the city and it would just encapsulate the hotels and downtown. It was crazy. And as we're going around, we're hearing about this fog. Somebody let us know that the fog has a name, that they named it. They named it Carl with a K.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the fog, and it's not like one person. Multiple people are telling us, yeah, Carl has rolled in today, and so I just thought that was.
I'm not sure I really care for
I
that.
know. I was curious what you think about that. So yeah, well, it's Carl with the K. So that's the cool version of how to spell Carl is what they said too. So
That is the best for it. That's the best way to spell it for
yeah,
sure.
I think. Well, so man, let me ask this. So what would you say? Because you hit on this a little bit, so I'm gonna add this in here. What do you think is a reason why a lot of real estate agents don't succeed in the market? Because you're past
Um,
the fallout rate and you're doing better than most. So what do you think is the reason?
so Ryan, I would have to say that this real estate isn't for everybody. So it's not. There's this big myth that you've got all this extra time that you can do what you want, and you're raking in all this money from the sales that you have or the buy sides that you have, and it's not a cheap business to be in. It's not something that you're going to have an obscene amount of time because your clients really dictate your schedule or
Sure.
can as much as you allow them anyway. So it's not for everybody, and it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of misconceptions that you can come in and have all this freedom that really truly and honestly you don't have.
Hmm. That's a so people maybe having the wrong perception of what it is. Yeah,
Certainly.
yeah. There was a friend of mine talking about loan originators that I don't know. Someone said to a friend that hey, if I don't start getting more business, and as a loan originator, I'm going to go get a real job. And my friend said, if you would treat this like a real job, then you would have more business. And
Absolutely, you have to go to work.
yeah, I think that may be, um, yeah, I think that's right. I think that a lot of agents, a lot of loan originators too, they just don't treat it as a real job. And you, I think that what's beautiful about what you've done is you've had a business and
Mhm.
that's outside of real estate, and now you've brought basically what you've learned there, I think, and added some stuff and had your own spin to it to have a very successful real estate business. You're embodying what you're saying, so I love it. So let me kind of ask one of my favorite questions. What would you say is one of your most favorite transactions that you've been a part of?
Man, that's actually a tough one. So I don't know that I really have any favorite transactions. Every deal that we're able to be a part of is just as important as the next one, or just as important as the last one.
Yeah,
This is a huge decision for anybody to make. It's a large purchase in people's lives, and every single one of them has to be taken seriously. So um, I don't know that I have a favorite one. I just really enjoy being a part of every one. So
anything ever like really unique happen, such as you had to go down to a jail to have a seller sign paperwork or something of that nature?
um, I didn't have to personally go to the jail, but yes, we've had we've had deals where there were several different heirs that were involved,
Yeah,
and those are, I don't know if I'd quite say that those are the fun ones,
sure.
but yes, we had one where we had six heirs, one deceased person
Oh,
who had two additional heirs that added to it. One of those heirs was in prison, so
ah,
yeah, that was a longer transaction. I wouldn't say that was a fun transaction.
sure, sure. So in times like that, Carl, because you're such a calm and cool type of guy, how do you keep everybody, you know, rowing the boat happily together?
You just have to be honest with people.
Mm,
If you shoot people straight and you tell them, listen, this is where we are, this
yeah,
is why we're there, and this is how we're gonna get past it. People can respect that, and as long as they know what they're looking at, then they understand. It's
yeah.
it's just part of the deal.
Now you haven't yet mentioned your secret sauce.
Well, secret sauce. I don't know that I really have any secret sauce.
Yeah,
Um,
your wife is, I
I,
would say,
oh, that secret
that
sauce.
secret sauce.
Yes. Um, she's a very big part of what I do in life and what I do in business.
Yeah.
Um, she worked with me. We've worked together on and off since we were, um, oh gosh, since we started in the industry, really. So in life,
Yeah.
we've been together for about 30 years, and it's every day. Every day's a new day.
Yeah.
So she definitely keeps me in line.
That's that's good. God created men to have a wife to be a helpmate and to help us to move forward with what we're called to do. And so, yeah, you're a good team. I can tell that, and I think that's part of your effectiveness, having that team approach. So, um,
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
Carl, you got a lot of great nuggets here. I'm just looking at my list, and I mean, you've talked about it's not about the transaction; it's about the relationship being dedicated. It's a repetitious process of having systems in place, focusing on what you do well, and just doing that, and really being authentic. Um, what else would you say, or would you give to maybe a new agent who's starting out? I know you lead a team, and so agents that come underneath you, is there anything you say to them that really helps to press
Um,
forward?
I would say whenever somebody's talking about getting their license, or regardless whether you're going to come here, go somewhere else, be on our team, or be a
Yeah,
lone agent, um, be ready. Be ready for what's coming, because every day is going to be something different. You need to be you need to learn the business so you can learn the intricacies of getting in and out of situations. Be involved with your local board. Know the industry.
mm,
It's not just about being able to go find a house
yeah,
and get somebody in that house. You've really you've got to buckle down and be involved. Be involved in the industry.
that's excellent. Huh. So by being involved in the industry, you feel like, and that helps you have a better grasp of the laws and intricacies and everything that's going on to be effective.
um, to be more effective, to know what's coming,
Ah,
and the reason for what has already come to pass. So
got it.
if you know a little more, and you don't have to know everything about everything,
Sure.
um, but know enough to be able to talk intelligently about it. And if you're able to be able to tell people what they can look forward to, or what they've just gained because of whatever situations just happened, then
Huh.
you need to have that knowledge.
So really, it not just be um, involved as a real estate agent, but be committed to it and be an industry expert of sorts, or be at least plugged in to resources. Yeah,
Be plugged in enough to where you know what's happening in the industry.
I love that. That's great. Well, we've kind of come to our time here, Carl. Is there anything else that you'd want to add as before we wrap up?
I don't know, Ryan. I think you've done a pretty good job of picking my brain. I don't know if there's a whole lot that I could add to it, without. I'm really not great being put on the spot. So
You
I
had
think if
some
you ask
wonderful
me,
nuggets that
well, if you ask me questions, I can answer them. But if I'm just shooting from the hip, then I'm kind of all over the place. So,
you know
uh,
one thing that I think was just pure gold that yeah, I think people say it from time to time, but I could really tell you were very authentic is when you said it's not about the transaction, it's about the relationship. I think that's really, if I was a new agent in the real estate business, that's something I would really try to take to heart. And also the part about, getting plugged in, knowing the industry. But I think a lot of agents get into the business maybe with some false expectations or expectations that may be false, uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
and thinking it's going to be really easy and you're just going to be raking in the dough, and so may focus more on the transaction instead of the person. And so that's beautiful. Hey, Carl, if anyone wanted to reach out to you just to connect, whether a client or an agent, how best would they reach out to you?
You can always, well, I mean, if you Google me, it comes up with like 7 or 8 different things, but you can always give me a call.
Hey,
My number is 903-520-5152. You can look me up on Facebook. You can send me an email. I'm pretty responsive. So any way that you can reach out and touch me, I'll pick up the phone, or I'll touch you back. So,
that is fantastic. And to an agent or a client listening to this, I would highly recommend Carl as a real estate agent to get with him.
thank you.
And he's a very authentic man who is true to his craft. So that's what I love about you. Carl,
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much for being a part of this today. And to our listeners, we'll catch you next time on Agent X Factor. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.